my friends, welcome to another Royale video. Today we will be going over a very beginner friendly deck. It's a deck that anybody can play, but especially beginning players, especially if you are like passing the true beginning of the game and starting to get into it, you are starting to lose, you don't have a lot of cards and you don't know what to do. So this deck only has one legendary card and it is not even needed. So if you are interested, guys, keep watching. So for the true beginners, this is the video for you. I will be explaining how to play this deck and you will be able to get a little bit further on the ladder until you get those better cards you need. Guys, make sure to subscribe, leave me a like, and if you have any questions, leave a comment. So let's get on with it.
Subscribe now.
Okay, my friends, let's get into it. But before we start talking about the actual deck, let's first state that this is my alt account. I have no spectacular levels. I'm using the trainer hero since that's what everybody has. Mine is level 6. I don't have any spectacular card levels. My crit is around 1.1k, so that's about it. But let's start talking about this deck now. So guys, I am using Crystalmancer, I am using Bombardier, Vampire, Ivy and Frost. So let's start talking about Frost because that's the only legendary in the game and you don't really need it. You can also take Cold Mage. I prefer Frost, but it's also the first legendary everybody should be able to get or can get. So I think most people have it. So if you have Frost, use it because it's a little bit easier to play with the AoE freeze, while with Cold Mage you kind of need to have multiple on the field at tier 3 to have a proper AoE freeze. So that's the only reason we're using Frost, and that's all we're gonna say about that right now. Then Ivy. Ivy is also important to know. Ivy, we're gonna use Ivy, especially for the first 2 waves. Ivy is just a beast. It will dominate the game for the first 2 waves. That's why we have Ivy, so we have a solid early game. Then Vampire. Vampire is our little mana generator. So what you want to do here, the ideal scenario is you want to get at least 3 tier 1 vampires on your board as quick as possible. You max out your vampire and you start grinding the mana. You want as much mana as you can get, of course, but this is really helpful. Once you get some tiers on them, you only need like 1 or 2 depending on your tier. So I like to have 2 on the board basically. Then we have our good old Bombardier. He's just there for extra CC and stunning, and Crystalmancer we have there to finish off the bosses and do basically do our damage. So the general tactic about this deck, it's basically stalling your opponent. So we're using Ivy for the early game. From then on, we just stall our opponent and we just slow everything, we stun everything. And yes, we will have higher HP bosses, but we don't care because we have Crystalmancer. And with Crystalmancer, we can kill those bosses. So that's basically the general tactic for this build. Compared to like the better builds in this game and the top tier builds and all the higher ranked people, what they are using is you don't have any real support cards here like Harlequin. We're not even using Mime. We don't have Dryad. There's a lot of good cards we don't have, like Scrappy maybe. So we want to build up our board in a solid way, in a balanced way. I always say this, but what does it mean? You can see it right here. We are not over merging anything, we're just leaving everything as is. You can see I'm getting slowed, his board is getting overrun. We will be heading over to some higher HP boss right away, like 500k I think, he has a little bit more. And We're just gonna take it out, but we have a solid board and we slowly start merging now. We make sure you have enough damage dealers going towards the late game. IV becomes less important, but you just want to keep getting the mana. You want a decent amount of slow on the board, a decent amount of stun on the board. Well, 1 or 2 bombardiers is more than enough. I like to have 2 tier 3 frosts at least. And then as many crystal mancers as we can get. That's basically the general idea. And as you can see, our board is getting overrun more or less, but we're slowing it, we're stunning it, we have the trainer to block it, and we don't care. Because our opponent, he does have a lot more damage than us, but he's not doing anything. Look, his board is getting overrun because he will never, at this level, you will never have enough damage to just clear everything. We are like around 1k crit here, guys. 900, I think my opponent has like 900. So he can't handle it, and that's what the problem is in the early game. So you want that CC, you want the slows, you want the stuns on your board, and slowly build your way to victory. Slow and steady, and don't rush it. And guys, you will see, this is the way to victory in the early game. Okay, so here you can see I wish I had like tier 3 frosts, but I don't, so it's fine. I also have a little bit too many IVs, which I am merging now, but we're getting our good friend Bedlam, and I'm going to try and take advantage from his flips to make my board stronger. Guys, do pay attention. I am being slightly aggressive. I shouldn't be this aggressive on a Bedlam normally. But my friend, he is basically not doing anything with the Bedlam flips. He's just letting his board sit there. So I'm trying to get like a couple of tier 4 units, and I'm hoping to get at least a Crystal Mancer, as you can see right there. I have him. And I have my 2 tier 3 frosts. So I have a strong slow. My board will be slowed, but I need to rebuild my damage. So I took the chance and it paid off, and I have my stun, I have my slow, and now I just need a few more Crystal Mances for the damage. The Vampire at this point doesn't matter that much, but still that 1 tier 4 Vampire will help me get the mana I need to rebuild my board. But I don't think it will be needed because I will be taking out my opponent, and as you can see, I have the trainer to block if needed, but my slow, look guys, the slow is basically making sure I win this game. So this is the first game, guys. I'm gonna be quiet, enjoy the music, and there will be a second game in this video, so let's get straight onto that one. Here we are in the second game, and after this there is a third game. These 2 games are technically with better decks than I have, or at least they have better individual cards than I'm using, but all put together my deck is favorable. I played like 20 games with the deck, I won them all, and I didn't see one single mirror match, so guys, it's definitely worth using. Once you get used to playing this, and you are able to play a balanced game and start building up, you learn how to build up this kind of decks, it's easy wins. But what happens when at a certain point you start losing games because you are facing stronger opponents with much better cards, much better decks? First of all, guys, make sure to keep up with your critical. Level up these cards, heroes if you can, and get some gear if you can, but at least level up, keep up with your crit damage. You can still farm, at this point you can still farm some co-op, so try and get as much gold from co-op as you can until they change it in like a good week from now with the new update coming. But until that happens, try and farm, get that critical up. Other than that, this deck can be upgraded a little bit. You can maybe add Hex into the mix once you get that card, Hex. It will make sure you have a little bit better wave control, and your bosses will be not so high level in HP. That's one trick, but another one is heroes. If you have a better hero, anything is better than trainer. So maybe you have like a level 1 gadget, or you have like a trickster, anything is better, guys. Use that other hero because it is better than trickster. Snowflake also with its slow, even more slow. So guys, use another hero, the easiest upgrade you can do if you have them. But that's basically it, guys. I want you guys to enjoy the music the rest of this video and watch these games. Try and get a feel on how this deck works. It's once you get a hang of it, it's easy, and I wish you guys best of luck. So guys, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. Feel free to subscribe, it will help me out a lot. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. I will try and answer it as good as I can. And of course, a like is always nice. So guys, thanks for watching. I hope you liked it, and I will see you guys on the battlefield.